Such a cool opportunity, and you guys, this is as behind the scenes as it gets because we are in the basement of the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The kids are actually in a ballroom just behind me having dinner right now. They're about to hear from Congressman Juan Ciscomani of Arizona, who's going to be talking about his own personal story and what it takes to be an elected leader. I want to show you some video, if we can, from the Cardinals plane. We just landed not long ago. The Cardinals were kind enough to fly 275 students, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders from 40 high schools across the state, across 5 counties. These kids were selected from Title I schools that serve low-income families. They all won an essay contest to be here. This is the 3rd year of Civics Matter Arizona. It was put on by the Cardinals and the governor's office and a group called the Close-Up Foundation. And the Close-Up Foundation has been doing these civics education trips for a long time, for decades. And I'm joined by that group's president, Mia Charity. Mia, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about what these kids are going to experience over the next, 4 days.
They're here in Washington for 4 days. Over the course of those days, they'll go through legislative simulations. They'll talk about important election issues and issues that impact their families, their homes, our democracy, and really have an opportunity to think about what they really value in terms of those issues and have conversations with, peers from across the state that might agree with them, might disagree, and really have some meaningful conversations about all of those issues that we find important, especially in an election year.
You know, the Close-Up Foundation has been doing this since, I think, 1971, but it seems like the landscape of discussion and debate has changed with social media. Has that changed what you guys do?
It does and it doesn't, right? The programs that we've had for the last 50 years are pretty much the same. Once you get people in the same room with each other, they can have respectful conversations. I think the social media piece, when people are hiding behind their computers, it makes them a little bold in different ways. But I think when you're face to face with people and you can hear them and hear why they have a specific point of view, then you gain some different understanding, and you might not come to agreement, but that's okay too.
Hey, it's a skill to agree, and it's a skill to disagree.
Absolutely.
Mia Charity, thank you so much for that. So, yeah, guys, we got a packed itinerary for today. Tomorrow, the kids are going to be hearing from Arizona Senator Mark Kelly on the steps of the U.S. Senate, and we will be there every step of the way. Watch for our live reports every day at 4 o'clock. We'll send it back to you.